Hey, let's do some letters for the 31st of July 2021. Sometimes I get a little jealous of these nomads, says Jen D. I see the conspicuous consumption of junk by people like Bleep and Bleep, we'll leave the names out, and wonder where the money is coming from. I know it is none of my business either. I have a pretty well-paying job in an albeit expensive city, and my debt load is relatively small. If I were to go out and buy a new vehicle with scads of issues, trendy electronics, or crap collectibles, not old enough to be antiques, then I couldn't afford it. How much are these dudes making? YouTube money is drying up, according to Dave. Yeah, it is, just to a good degree. Most Patreon members go at the bottom level, and the people that make the merch get most out of their merch profit. Unlike some of us employed drones, it's not like some of their income and other taxes as well as pension contributions and employment insurance is not being paid by the employer. Any savings, inheritance, or lottery win could quickly be drained with unchecked spending. Yeah, so I'm jealous. I wish I could be irresponsible and still have everything be okay. You know, good point there, Jen. A lot of these nomads are middle-aged, you know, and do they have retirement accounts? Are they putting the money away for 20 years down the road when they're 60, 65 or whatever? You know, I don't know. It just seems like part of the allure of the nomadic life is the living simply. And we're seeing some of these nomads buying multiple vehicles, sometimes up, many multiple vehicles, and getting more and more stuff. They've got to have storage lockers somewhere, piles of stuff, and where are they putting it all? And then, at least one certain nomad does admit to buying a house, and another one, who's very popular is probably living in a house, but he won't tell us. I don't know, man. It just seems like there's wise ways to spend money and save money, and a lot of these nomads just ain't doing it. I mean, they're spending it, they're not saving it. And again, if the S hits the fan, there's always Patreon, PayPal, and Super Chat, right? Carol West says, I'll never get tired of you, Dave. What happened to the pets? Did all the pet haters bully you into not showing the segment Slow Nomad Days? It's a good filler. Have you watched the latest Curtain Snow? No, I have not watched the latest Curtain Snow, but yeah, you bring up a good point. Let's do the last Pet Palooza. Remember I said we were going to finish this up in July? We got a couple more pet picks. Let's finish it up. Here they are. This is Steppenwolf's dog, Ginny. Aww, Camo Dave K9. Oh man, and let's see where I got the other pet pics on here. Where are they? Where'd they go? They're not showing up. And then we got this one. Yeah, this is anyway. This is Gil's dog, Ollie Northstar. Wow. Oh yeah. All right. And I think we also got Ollie decked out a little differently here with the sunglasses on the shades. I think I like this one better. All right, so that's it. That's our Pet Palooza for the summer of 2021. Well, if you have a few more straggler pictures coming in early August, we'll allow that. CamoDave@gmx.com, send them to me. And then we're going to do a Pet Palooza Spectacular, another week or two. I will show all the pets all over again, hosted by your favorite puppet, Ralphie. Me. Yeah, it's coming up. Betty Smith says a lot of these nomads will not get a very big payout from Social Security eventually because, they do not have employers that match the funds that are put into their Social Security. Anyway, I noticed that as a self-employed person for the last 20-some, 30-some years that, you don't get matching stuff from your employer because you don't have one. So you're not going to get a huge payout from Social Security when you do retire in your 60s or whenever that is. So, yeah, good one here from Betty Smith. Remember, it pays for them to make the nomad life look wonderful. They're not going to admit that they're broke all the time, unless they want to e-beg, lonely most of the time, which I would be, and not at all investing in their future if currently of working age and not on SS or SSDI. A lot of these nomads that we do see are in their 30s and 40s, which are technically your top earning ages, and They're just barely getting by, right? RV there yet? I like that. RV there yet? You know who Derek has changed his description to read that he travels in a Class B, and it no longer mentions the Class A. So obviously it is being sold or parked. Pinkerton says, I like your big white CBS. Yes, it is a CBS coffee mug. Because when you drink from it on video, all we see is the BS. Seems quite fitting about the content. I like that. Yeah, I like that. You only see the BS. Yeah. See the BS on CBS. We were talking about some campers there in Ohio who went missing and were found. Yeah, whatever. You watch the video. It's a very sad story. Very dangerous camping sometimes, where you've got criminals out there that will rob you and KILL, whatever. Anyway, Roadside Camper said at least they found the two campers in Ohio. But yeah, their bodies. There's a guy named Philip who went missing in Pleasanton Hills, California about 3 weeks ago, camping, and never found him. So again, you know, it's sad but true. Be very, very careful. The crooks and the criminals are out there in the woods, in the hills, in the forests. They're everywhere, right? Jay Wagner says there's a story in the Columbus Dispatch that has more info. Okay, about that horrible thing that happened to the campers there in Ohio. But Jay Wagner also asks, is YouTube deleting comments that have links now? What happens is there's an awful lot of spammy people trying to put links in, and I think YouTube does delete a lot of anything that has a link in it will sometimes just get deleted. Again, you know, there's some people that put legitimate links in, but there's also a lot of spammy things, and you shouldn't click on those links in many cases because you'll get something nasty on your device. Hollybeth says anyone over the age of 10 that has caught a rerun of the Brady Bunch, where the Brady family goes on a camping trip vacation holiday, and little Bobby and little Cindy get lost, go missing, and eventually are found by a lovely local Native American family. Well, that's a TV show. Today's world isn't that sunny. A number of people were talking about on the news there is a lady that was arrested for getting too close to some bears in a park. And No Fear to Trek tells us why. When someone feeds the bears out of generosity and empathy, and the bears become dependent upon the continued handouts, don't be surprised when the bears want more and more and become unruly when they don't get what they've learned to depend on. Ugh. Unintended consequences can be predicted to occur if dependent bears take it out on unsuspecting parties unaware of the unruly bears roaming the area. That is a good reason why many parks require that you stay far away from the bears and do not go near them and do not try to feed them or anything like that, because it just makes them dependent on humans and more likely to cause humans trouble in the future. Good point there from No Fear to Trek Ray. Wrestling Ernest Hemingway says Derek's cats should love living in that tiny space in his new van. LOL. You remember when Camper Van Kenny, Kevin, had a relatively small van, or it was a Class B or something. I forget what it was. A smaller vehicle than what he has now, and he had the 3 dogs living in that thing, and they barely had any room. The dogs do need a little room. He has 2 cats now, Derek. And he's scaling back to a van, or a Class B, a camper van. Camper Van Derek. Camper Van Tater. Tell one of the parody channels that, and then maybe they'll do a thing on it. I don't know, man. And finally, Hank Amarillo says, I don't know who Hank Amarillo's talking about, but I guess we can guess, how will he survive without his big screen TV, full-size recliner, and fridge for his beer? He can probably cram them into the van, right? Anyway, Mark from Arizona, we were wondering, one more thing. Mark from Arizona, we were wondering why Blue Van Dan is buying a big bus. And he needs it for his new girlfriends. And he mentions, Mark from Arizona mentions several Arizona-based female nomads. Okay. Big Blue Van Dan. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, Vlog Under.